Every year, when the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame announces its new inductees, music fans everywhere dive into passionate debates about who made the cut and who got snubbed. It's like a never-ending battle of opinions that nobody seems to agree on. But one band that keeps popping up in these discussions is Foreigner. You've probably heard their songs blasting from radios or in movies, like Hot Blooded or the tear-jerking I Want to Know What Love Is. They were huge in the 70s and 80s, selling out stadiums and dominating the airwaves. Yet, despite their undeniable impact on rock history, Foreigner couldn't get a nomination in the prestigious Hall of Fame until recently. Meanwhile, bands like the Eagles and Aerosmith have already secured their spots. It's left many wondering, why did it take so long for Foreigner to get the recognition they deserve? And what finally changed to put them on the radar? Let's talk about it in today's video. Foreigner's nomination for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame feels like a monumental moment for the veteran rock band. You see, artists become eligible for the Hall of Fame 25 years after they release their first album or single. The criteria for inclusion is all about the influence and significance of their contributions to rock and roll. Now, despite being eligible since 2002, Foreigner has only just appeared on this year's ballot for the first time ever. It's surprising, considering their massive global record sales of over 80 million and a whopping 9 top 10 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. Hits like Feels Like the First Time, Cold as Ice, and Urgent have made them rock legends. But despite all this success, Foreigner has been one of the biggest snubs in Rock Hall history, according to critics, commentators, and fans alike. Now, before this nomination, Foreigner's bassist Jeff Pilson shared his thoughts on why the band hadn't received the Rock Hall nod yet. He said, quote, "I think it's very, very simple why, and that's because critics were never all that into Foreigner. They always viewed it as very commercial and corporate. You always have to see where critics are coming from. And to them, when something sells a lot of records, in most cases they'll view that as having been because of some kind of compromise made by the artist. And I just don't feel like Foreigner did that. I feel like we made honest music that's just really good that people happen to like. So to answer your question, I think that they just look down on the band. And that's okay. They're critics. That's what they do. But I have a feeling that that has a lot to do with it, because the Recording Academy and everything very much reflects on that whole credible side of things. And Foreigner was just never included in that. I think over time, I think someday Foreigner will get inducted, Pilson added. I don't think I will, nor necessarily should I, but I think the band will. And I do think the original guys really do deserve their due. I know bands like Dokken that I was in the 80s, we used Foreigner as an example. That was what helped us to solidify the idea of hard rock with great songs and big catchy choruses. That comes partly from Foreigner. So Foreigner does deserve its just due, and hopefully with time it will get it. Similarly, 3 years ago, Foreigner guitarist Mick Jones was asked if it means anything to him to get inducted into the Rock Hall. Jones responded, quote, "Well, let's say it's not something I wrestle with or something that affects my life. Of course it would be nice, but sometimes you wonder if it's a political thing more than a musical thing or anything to do with achievement. Because as far as achievements, we've certainly achieved a tremendous amount with the band. And we'll see. I guess someday. Who knows?" Also, the original Foreigner singer, Lou Gramm, had even suggested that the band's exclusion from the Hall for 20 years might be due to more, quote-unquote, personal reasons. He said, quote, "I think it's less about whether we're qualified, and I think it might be more personal now. I know that at some point, when a lot of our compatriots were being nominated and accepted into it, the bands and the artists that came up when we came up that were inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame, and we were left out, I believe that our manager at that time, and Mick, meaning Mick Jones, went to see the head of the Rock Hall of Fame and had a discussion with him, which led to some heated words. And as that discussion ended, I don't know who, it might have been Jan Wenner from Rolling Stone magazine, who actually was a very good friend of Mick's. I think he told Mick and our manager that it'll be a cold day in hell before Foreigner gets into the Rock Hall of Fame. That's the way it ended up. And sure enough, I bet you 20 years have gone by since that. After Foreigner received their first ever nomination for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Mick Jones, the band's founder, expressed his gratitude. He said, quote, "I deeply appreciate the recognition from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominating committee. It is wonderful that Foreigner has maintained its presence all these years and brought the music to our fans. Getting this news is an incredible endorsement of what we have achieved over time." Jones and original Foreigner vocalist Lou Gramm were inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2013. Longtime bassist Rick Wills shared his excitement by saying, quote, "We're more than thrilled. It's been over 20 years since we've been waiting for this day. I suppose we were frustrated, to be perfectly honest, but we tried to hide it as best as we could because we didn't want to appear like we were sad people. I mean, what else could you do but what we've done already with our music and what people have appreciated and enjoyed? We didn't understand why we didn't get that recognition." Phil Carson, an executive at Atlantic Records when it signed Foreigner and the band's manager since 2004, calls the nomination quote-unquote fabulous and overdue. Carson says, quote, "Oh, of course it's been frustrating, and I do know that many of the nominating committee members have put Foreigner on the list, but we just never got in." Noting that the late Rock Hall co-founder Seymour Stein was an ardent supporter. This year, Carson says, quote, "The usual suspects who have always been in our court voted, and I guess there was just that little bit of extra credibility of people that surround Foreigner, surround Mick, helped." Since their debut in 1977, Foreigner has achieved significant success with 6 multi-platinum albums and 22 songs on the Billboard Hot 100, including the chart topper I Want to Know What Love Is in 1985. The band, which has experienced lineup changes over the years, went on hiatus in the early 2000s, but reformed in 2004 with Kelly Hansen as the frontman and former Dokken bassist Jeff Pilson. Although some original members have passed away and Jones has stopped touring due to health reasons, Foreigner continues to resonate with fans worldwide. Now, there could be several reasons why it took so long for Foreigner to receive the recognition they deserve. One factor might be the preferences and biases of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominating committee. They might have favored other artists or genres over Foreigner's brand of rock music. Additionally, Foreigner's commercial success could have worked against them in the eyes of some critics and industry insiders. Some may have viewed their music as too mainstream or commercial, leading to skepticism about their artistic merit. There may also have been some personal or political factors at play behind the scenes. As mentioned in some of the statements, there were discussions and heated words exchanged between Foreigner's management and the Rock Hall officials, which could have influenced their decision-making process. For years, Foreigner fans have been rallying to get the band recognized by the Rock Hall, but founder Mick Jones has mostly stayed out of the buzz, quietly wishing for the acknowledgement. He said, quote, "I'm not thinking about it much. I know we're getting a lot of support from a lot of places. Obviously, the fans who were kind of, let's induct Foreigner to the Hall of Fame and all those kinds of things. And lots of other people seem to think we should be in there. I think it's down to the panel and whatever mood they happen to be in and whatever style of music they award. But I'm quite happy with what I've achieved, and the songs speak for themselves. Whether it happens or not, I'm still a happy man." Phil Carson, the band's manager, mentions that Foreigner plans to drum up support for their nomination through their website and social media, urging fans to join in the public vote. Meanwhile, the current lineup of Foreigner kicked off a farewell tour last year, set to resume for another leg this year. Originally planned to end in North America by the summer of 2025, Carson hints that demand from other places might stretch the tour into 2026. So, while the Rock Hall nomination adds a hopeful spark to Foreigner's journey, fans eagerly await the outcome as the band continues to rock on, both on stage and in the hearts of their supporters. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to show your support by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel for more fascinating stories from the world of music. And hit that notification bell so that you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching.